focus definitely has to be McLeod Russel. Stock is holding high with a gain of around 5%. That's on the back of news that tea prices are likely to move higher. They moved higher this season itself. We're joined now by Kamal Baheti, the CFO of McLeod Russel, who joins us on the phone line. Hi, Mr. Baheti. Thanks so much for joining in today. Could you give us a couple of details? Since October, what has been the quantum of increase? Could you tell us? And has there been an increase in the first place?
See, Nigel, if you really go by right from the very beginning of the season, till September we were lower by around 4 to 5 rupees per kg as compared to last year cumulative.
Right.
From October last year from October onwards, we had seen a dip in prices because end season normally the prices drop.
Correct.
What we had seen this year is that the prices not only dropped, but it had gone up. And the gap between the last year and this year, which was lower by 4 rupees, has increased on the positive side by 6 rupees. So there had been a 10 rupee gap between last year and this year in the last 1 month or so, both in terms of October and November. Mm-hmm. And current prices, the way it is holding up, I think the gap will increase. So towards the end of the season, which is sometime in February, March, as compared to last year, we will be 15 to 20 rupees higher than last year. But the price trend will be the similar because end season normally the prices tend to be lower. This time it is holding out.
All right, Mr. Baheti, then if I get what you're saying currently, last year itself we saw a bit of a decline. This year we saw an increase. So the differential is quite wide, more than 10 to 15 rupees as you stated for the quarter three. So quarter three of this year versus quarter three of next year versus last year should be much better than this quarter three?
Yeah, as I said, the prices started moving up from October and by December we will be higher by 10 rupees. So the prices for the third quarter should be higher than the third quarter last year.
Okay.
But whether it will have an impact on the profitability, which mainly depends on the crop. And crop has not recovered this year. So I think the major impact will be seen, which will be positive in the next year when the new season prices open.
All right. So come March, then what kind of increase are you expecting? And also, could you give us some details? What is the current deficit number that you're working with? 50, 55 million? What is it?
See, if you really look at the entire numbers globally, Kenya is down by around 48 million kilograms till date. India is down by 20, 25 million, and other countries put together 80 million deficit globally on the total overall production. Tea prices in Africa for the year had been 20-25% higher. Indian tea prices had been almost similar cumulatively, only higher in the last 1 or 2 months. As we see towards the end of the season, the gap being 15-20 rupees, we normally see the new season open at a much bigger gap. So we are expecting the opening prices to be higher by minimum 15 to 20 rupees as compared to the opening prices last year. So I think going forward from the first quarter onwards, the price trend will continue to be very strong. We only hope that there is a recovery of crop which is required to offset the cost increase which has been substantial in this year, mainly on the wage account and the electricity cost.
All right. So going ahead then, will we see any kind of expansion in margins? As you said, electricity cost as well has been going higher. We hear that even pesticide prices have been going higher. So will there be any scope for margin expansion given that prices are likely to go higher?
See, if you really look at the total overall cost structure, around 80-85% of the cost is fixed. Yeah. Wage is around 60%, and that has increased by 23% because of the wage agreement which is happened. Next year, the increase is only 9%. So very marginal increase in cost next year. And the major expansion will come if we can recover the crop and the price increase happens. So, from 24-25%, we drop down to 10-11% margin. I think we will go back to 24-25% over the next couple of years. Next year should definitely be an expansion of margin, and we expect to be in the range of around 18-19% from currently 11%.
Oh, all right. So next year should be a much better year then. Final question, Mr. Baheti, could you break that up for us? What kind of exports you're doing, what kind of domestic sales you're doing, and what kind of benefit you can get? What's the current price difference for you?
See, if you really look at the total overall McLeod Russel consolidated production, it is around 115 million kilograms.
Okay.
Out of which overseas is 30 million, which completely gets exported.
Okay.
And 20 million we export from India. So around 40-45% of the total consolidated production we export. And the prices, currently Kenyan prices are higher by around 10-15% as compared to Indian prices. But other African prices have been holding up very good. They are up by around 20-25%, other than Uganda, which is holding steady. So Indian prices have been more or less stable till date and becoming higher. Maybe we will end the year with only 2-3% increase in prices. I think the gap which has increased in the overseas prices and Indian prices should actually become in favor of Indian prices for the next year. And that is why we believe that the price trend in India will be much higher next year.
All right, Mr. Baheti, thanks so much for stopping by and giving us your quick take on prices going ahead. Reasonably